If you're coming from a normal speedlight like this, a flash like the Godox AD100 Pro II can actually seem a little bit strange. Because you can't even put this directly on top of your camera. So why would you choose something like this over the Godox V1 Mid? And once you do decide to use an off-camera flash, you've suddenly got triggers, groups, channels, IDs, TTL, manual mode, high-speed sync, and it can get confusing pretty quickly. So in this video I'm going to simplify all of that. First I'll explain you why you might want this type of flash in the first place. Then we'll set up the AD100 Pro II from scratch, connect it to a normal Godox trigger. I'll show you how you can actually use a small flash like the IT30 Pro as a trigger as well. And we'll go through the settings I think you actually need to understand to use this flash the best way. And finally I will show you the simple setup I would recommend if you're completely new to off-camera flash. So just complete disclosure, Godox did send me this AD100 Pro II flash and they are sponsoring this video as well. But as always, I'm going to show you how I would actually use it and what I think you need to know. And I haven't been told what to say and Godox haven't seen this video beforehand. So this is 100% my own opinion and what I think about this product. Before getting into the menus and settings, I think it's worth understanding what something like the AD100 Pro II actually gives you over a smaller speedlight. Because I don't really see it as a replacement for a speedlight. Something like my V1 Mid is incredibly convenient. I can put it directly on my camera, point it at the ceiling and bounce the light, use it directly or take it off camera if I want to. So if you're going to photograph an event or a wedding, an on-camera flash can be really useful because you can carry it with you and you can still light your shots without carrying big softboxes and stuff like this. The AD100 Pro II is different. This is really designed around off-camera lighting. So I'm deliberately placing my light somewhere away from the camera and controlling it wisely. And there are a few advantages to that. First, power. The AD100 Pro II is rated at 100 watt seconds, while something like the V1 Mid is 55 watt seconds. That doesn't mean that the AD100 will simply look twice as bright in every photograph. The design of the flash head, zoom and modifiers also affect how the light is distributed, but it does give me considerable more power and more headroom to work with. So if my speedlight is constantly working close to full power, something like the AD100 can do the same kind of job without necessarily being pushed as hard. And the AD100 Pro II has also been designed for sustained shooting. Godox says the updated cooling system can handle around 60 to 100 consecutive full power flashes depending on the conditions. The second advantage is light shaping. There is a magnetic mount directly on the front of it, so I can very quickly use accessories from the AKR1 kit like a dome, grid or other modifiers. And if you want to go further, Godox also supports larger modifiers through its S3 adapter. But there is a trade-off. With the speedlight, everything can live directly on my camera. With the AD100, I am committing to off-camera flash. I need somewhere to put the light and I need something on the camera to control it. So I see this as the step you take when you go from simply adding flash to actually positioning it and controlling your light. So it is definitely meant for more of a studio or controlled environment than just carrying the flash with you, taking photos when you're out and about. And that brings us to the part that can initially be a little confusing. How do you actually make this thing work? Let's simplify the wireless system first. There are really only three things here: my camera, my trigger, and my flash. The trigger is the controller or sender. The AD100 Pro II is the receiver. And the AD100 Pro II has Godox 2.4 GHz X wireless system built into it. So it works with Godox X series triggers. Then we have three terms that you will see all the time. We have group, we have channel, and ID. The easiest way I think about them is this. The channel is basically the radio channel the devices are communicating on. The ID adds another layer to make sure you're controlling your own lights rather than someone else's Godox setup nearby. The AD100 Pro gives you 32 channels and IDs from 10 to 99, so there are plenty of options if you are working somewhere with several wireless systems around you. But if you're sitting at home watching this and you just want your first flash to fire, don't overthink this. And the group lets you control individual flashes separately. So I could have this flash in group A, another flash in group B, and then change their power independently from the trigger on my camera. For a simple one light setup, we don't need to make this complicated. So just using group A is perfectly fine. So let's start with the flash itself. Turn the AD100 Pro on. For off-camera use, with a Godox trigger, we want the flash operating as a wireless receiver. Once we're in receiver mode, we can use TTL, manual or multi-flash through the Godox wireless system. For now, I'm going to keep things as simple as possible and use manual. Then I'll select group A, I'll choose my channel, and I will just put ID on off. And now if I press the test button, we have communication. But here is the more useful test. If I change the power of group A here on the trigger, you can see that the AD100 changes with it. Sometimes you need to fire the flash to make this happen, but then it changes. And that's really the beauty of this system. Once the light is on a stand, I don't need to keep walking backwards and forwards to change it. I can control the output from my camera position. But here is something that I think is quite interesting, because nowadays you don't necessarily need a dedicated trigger if you already own another compatible Godox flash with sender functionality. And most new Godox flashes has this. For example, this tiny IT30 Pro that I made a video about earlier this year. The IT30 Pro also has Godox X wireless system built in it and can operate as either a sender or a receiver. So I can put this on my camera, switch it into sender mode, and now use it to control the AD100 Pro II. And I can change its power remotely from the IT30 Pro as well. What I like about this is that the IT30 Pro is already a useful little on-camera flash by itself. So if you own one, it can also become the controller for your large off-camera lights. That can make for a really compact setup. And of course you can also use the on-camera flash to fire with the off-camera flash to fire. And then you have two flashes. Now let's talk about two settings you're going to see constantly. Manual and TTL. Manual is exactly what it sounds like. I'm deciding how much flash power I want. 1/16, 1/8, 1/4, and so on. If neither my light nor my subject is moving much, I normally really like manual flash, because once I got the exposure right, it stays right. TTL works differently. TTL uses the camera's metering system to calculate an automatic flash exposure for you. The AD100 Pro supports TTL when it's being controlled wirelessly by a compatible Godox sender. And TTL can be incredibly useful when the distance between the flash and the subjects keep changing, or when you're working quickly. Think events, moving subjects, or situations where you don't have time to constantly make manual adjustments. But I don't think beginners should assume TTL is the professional mode and manual is the basic mode. For a control portrait, where my light is here and my subject is here, manual can actually be much easier. You set the light, take a test shot and adjust. And then you just leave it alone when you find the right balance. The next feature worth understanding is high-speed sync, or HSS. Normally cameras have a maximum shutter speed where the entire sensor is exposed at once during the flash. Once you go significantly beyond that normal flash sync speed, you need high-speed sync if you want the flash to work properly across the whole frame. And if you don't do this, you will get these strange black bars on your photos and they will just become useless. The AD100 Pro II also supports high-speed sync up to 1/8000 of a second with compatible systems. And this becomes especially useful if you're using it outside. For example, maybe I want to shoot at a wide aperture in daylight. Without high-speed sync, I may be forced to use a slower shutter speed than what I want. And then I would need an ND filter to use my flash actually. But with high-speed sync, I can increase the shutter speed and still use my flash. But there is a trade-off. High-speed sync is less efficient than normal flash sync. So don't expect the same effective flash output once you start using very fast shutter speeds. That's another situation where having more power than a tiny on-camera flash can become really useful. There's also a zoom setting on the AD100 Pro II. It can adjust its beam between 28 and 85 millimeters. This isn't changing the power of the flash, it's changing how concentrated or wide the beam is. A wider setting spreads the light over a large area. A longer zoom setting concentrates the light into a narrower area. I wouldn't obsess over this when you are starting, but it's useful when you want more control over where your light is going. There is also a small LED modeling light built into the AD100 Pro II. This isn't there to replace a proper video light. It's mainly useful for giving you a preview of where your light is falling and helping you position the flash before you take the photograph. The AD100 Pro II lets you adjust the brightness of that modeling light through 10 levels. Especially when you're learning lighting, I think this can make positioning the light much easier. The other thing Godox sent me with this flash is the AK-R1 accessory kit. And I'm not going to go through every accessory individually because I don't think that's particularly useful. The important thing is that the round head has a magnetic accessory mount, so I can very quickly attach something like the diffusion dome or a grid without needing to completely rebuild my setup. The grid is useful when I want to restrict spill and keep the light more controlled. And with the dome, I'm going to show you an actually before and after, rather than simply telling you what it does. Because modifiers don't magically create beautiful soft light. The size and position of the light relative to your subject are still incredibly important, but the magnetic system itself makes changing the character and spread of the light very fast. Now at some point this is probably going to happen. You press the shutter and absolutely nothing happens. Before assuming something is broken, check the simple things first. Is the AD100 in the correct wireless receiver mode? Is your trigger actually transmitting? Are both devices on the same channel? Are you using ID and does the ID match? Is the flash assigned to the same group you're controlling on the trigger? And is that group actually turned on? Also, check the camera itself. Some camera settings and shutter modes can prevent flash from firing, so if the wireless setup appears correct, check your camera's flash settings as well. And then use the test button. If the trigger's test button fires the AD100, but taking a photograph doesn't, you've already learned something important. The wireless connection is working. The problem is probably somewhere between the camera and the trigger, rather than between the trigger and the flash. That little bit of troubleshooting can save you a lot of frustration, I hope. So if you just bought an AD100 Pro II and you're completely new to off-camera flash, here is the setup I would start with. Don't use every feature. Don't use 3 lights. Don't start playing with 5 different groups. Keep it simple and remember that your camera exposure and your flash exposure give you 2 different types of control. Your ambient exposure determines how bright the environment or the scene looks, and your flash determines how much additional light you're putting onto that subject. So before actually turning on the flash, I would find my ambient exposure. How do you want your scene or your ambient to look like? Put your camera into manual exposure. So you could start at a low ISO around f5 on the aperture, and then a shutter speed of like 1/80. Then you can take a photo and you can see how the ambient and the background looks like. So not how your subject looks like. From here you can adjust the shutter speed until you find an ambient that you like. Then I would turn on the flash. Put the AD100 into manual flash. Use group A. Put the light roughly 45 degrees to one side of your subject and slightly above, and I will start with somewhere around 1/16 or 1/8 power. I will take a photograph, and if my subject is too dark, I can increase the flash power. And if they're too bright, I can decrease it. Once that concept clicks, off-camera flash becomes much less intimidating. And that's really the AD100 Pro II in the way I think most people actually need to understand it. It's more powerful and more purpose-built for off-camera lighting than a normal speedlight, while still being small enough that carrying it doesn't immediately turn into a massive lighting setup. The AD100 Pro II gives you 100 watt seconds of output, TTL, high-speed sync, the Godox X wireless system, and compatibility with the magnetic round head accessories, all in a relative compact package. But the specifications aren't the difficult part. The difficult part when you are new to flash is understanding how the pieces communicate and knowing which settings actually matter. So start with 1 light, 1 group and manual power, and one simple setup. Once you're comfortable with that, TTL, high-speed sync, multiple lights, multi-exposure and all the other features becomes much easier to understand. I will be making more videos about this flash in the future, so if you would like to see those, please make sure to subscribe so you won't miss that. If you enjoyed this video, you are also of course welcome to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. It really helps me out, so I really appreciate if you do that. Thanks for watching the video and I will see you in the next one.
I'm the biggest in the game, I'm the one they talk about. Everybody know my name, my resume is loud.